Hi, I'm Ed Winchester.
Hello, Boomerizzles. What's going on? It's good to see you again. Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a new one for me. This is sent in by Mr. Goldberg. He has sent in Daniel Sloss. Cool last name. Mr. Sloss. It sounds like a Bond villain or something. Daniel Sloss on the difference between violence in the U.S. and the UK. I have a feeling I know where this is going. But the thing that I noticed about this was on Conan O'Brien's talk show that he used to have like 7 years ago. So I had never heard of Daniel Sloss before, so this is a first time hearing it. But he must Conan must like him at least to put him on his show, you know. And that was like the biggest talk show there for quite a number of years. So. And honestly, it was like the only talk show that I kind of like could tolerate watching. I've never been a fan of talk shows much. When I was a kid, I kind of liked Jay Leno a little bit, but you know, to each their own, I guess. Anyway, Daniel Sloss on the difference between violence in the U.S. and UK. Let's find out what he has to say. Now, remember to like, subscribe, do whatever you guys want, and let's check this out. Here we go. Whoops, hold on. There we go.
It's nice to be back in America. Like what you've done with the place. Seems to be going well. You're all tense. It's fine. I still get tense about my country. I'm from Scotland. I like explaining Scotland to some Americans. I'm like, I'm from Scotland. Oh, so you're English. The opposite of what you just said. Stupid Canadians. Scotland has been a bit, not necessarily rough, but obviously you know us from one movie. Don't say Trainspotting. The other one, Braveheart. Remember that whole movie where we chanted about how awesome we thought freedom was? Freedom, freedom. And then we had a vote on freedom and we were like, I don't like it anymore.
Is he referring to that referendum on Scotland leaving the United Kingdom? And I think it was, what was it? It was like 54% chose to stay. I remember that popping up in the news. I was like, oh, is Scotland going to do it? No, they didn't do it. He doesn't have a very thick Scottish accent. Like, you know, compared to like Kevin Bridges' accent is much, much thicker. And sometimes, as you guys have seen from my reactions, sometimes I'm like, what did he say? But no, not this Daniel Sloss guy. So I wonder how that happens in Scotland. I need a Scotsman to help me out here. I wonder how that happens where, you know, I've heard that Glasgow has a very thick accent where they say, I've even heard other Scotsmen say, I can't understand what some people in Glasgow say. So it's interesting to me how like he ends up with an accent that is not very thick, and then on the other hand, Kevin Bridges is somebody who I love. I actually am waiting for his tickets to go. As I'm recording this, I'm waiting for his tickets to go online so I can actually go to see a show. Hopefully he comes to Florida. But his accent is much, much thicker, and sometimes I'm like, dude, what did he say? I don't know. So I just find that interesting. I don't know. So I hope that didn't offend anybody. Shout out to Scotland. Love you guys.
I preferred it when Mel said it. I'm trying to be more politically engaged. The news confuses me. Not only does the news confuse me, people who watch the news confuse me. They talk in riddles. All my friends are like, Daniel, don't watch the news. The news is lying to you. And I'm like, all right, cool. Who told you that? The other news. This is already more complicated than House of Cards. I think the news gives too much information, and I'm very aware that sounds like something an idiot would say, but welcome to my comedy. Like, it's very, very confusing. I don't even get scared by the news. I get jealous of people that get scared. Because if you get scared by the news, that means you understand what's going on. President says something, you're like, oh no. I'm like, what did he say? I watch the news like I've just joined in on season 7 of Game of Thrones. Just there on the couch with my friends being like, who's this guy? Is he a bad guy? Oh, we don't know. Cool. What about her? She a bitch? She looks like what I thought, so I called it. So they like kill each other and stuff? They have sex? No, they don't. No, they don't. Who's he having sex with? Putin? No way. It's like, very...
Oh, God, dude.
Hence, nice. It's like watching news over here in America. It's insane. I feel there's too much information on the news sometimes. Right? I was watching, last time I was over here, a man had murdered 2 people in a park, right, with a gun. It's important to point that out. It's the difference between my country and yours. We have violence in the UK, it's just a bit more...
It's a bit... Yo! The subtleness of that. The subtleness of just doing that little hand motion.
Had murdered 2 people in a park, right, with a gun. It's important to point that out. It's the difference between my country and yours. We have violence in the UK, it's just a bit more... stabby. And obviously stabbing's bad, but for me, I prefer it. It's a bit more honest. Right? I could be killed from across the street with a gun, right? Never have any idea who did it. But if I get stabbed, like, I'm willing to take up to 40% of the blame for that. Like, some of that is on me. Like, you wanted to stab me more than I didn't want to be stabbed at some point. Like, you got better cardio, you were hiding in a tree, you've earned the wallet. Take it. It's not a critique, it's the differences. I like pointing out the differences. And I'm very aware that sometimes the differences make me sound like the idiot, right? Try to explain to my American friends, we don't have guns in the UK. They're like, really? No guns? I'm like, no, of course not. They're like, what about your police officers? I'm like, of course our police officers don't have guns. Oh yeah, what do they have? Oh, you know, sticks. How do the sticks work? Well, if you're being a dick, the police will go, aye! Stop being a dick! And 90% of the time, that is enough to make a British person go, oh, terribly sorry, I do apologise, I was. The other 10% of the time, if the dick stick is not enough to deter you from your general dickery, I definitely went over my budget on the word dick there. Right, that's when police officers in Britain will get serious. They'll go into their inside pocket, bring out a pen. Oh, now you're screwed. Oh, our police officers might not take your life, but they will take your name. And give it to your mum, and that's worse than death in my experience. I grew up in a place called Fife in Scotland, right? Quite violent Fife. My favourite statistic about Fife is that you are not more likely to be stabbed in Fife than anywhere else in the world. But if you are stabbed in Fife, you're more likely to be stabbed repeatedly.
Oh, God! No! What? Dude, he's... I gotta say, man, and maybe it's the difference in the comedy, but because some of the shit he's saying is cracking me up. But this crowd for on Conan's show is lame. It's a lame crowd. I don't know what's going on. Maybe everybody had diarrhea that night or something. But the crowd that I'm hearing on this particular set with Daniel Sloss, they're just out of it. They're just lost. Either that or they don't understand it, but I don't know. I think some of the shit this guy's saying is hilarious. And he said you stabbed repeatedly, and the faces he's making with it, like he's all smiley about it. Like, oh man, play that again.
Than anywhere else in the world. But if you are stabbed in Fife, you're more likely to be stabbed repeatedly. Because when we commit a crime, we commit to that crime. So this man, he'd murdered 2 people in a park, right? I think we can all agree, by and large, dick move. Thoroughly not cool, Stephen, real not cool. He went to prison for 15 years. That's the whole story. That's the whole story. I gave you the entire story there in less than 5 seconds. 45 minutes. I watched this newscaster give irrelevant information about the murderer. That didn't affect the story. The man who murdered the 2 people was described by his neighbors as a marijuana-smoking porn hoarder. Don't make me like him. Like, those are very mixed signals. You started off by saying he was a dick. Now he sounds cool.
Not bad, man. Some of that stuff was really funny. Daniel Sloss. Okay. Yeah, dude, that crowd was like... That was a lame crowd. I've heard jokes that are like way less funny or not funny at all, and crowds have been American crowds in particular. American crowds have just been eating it up. But this crowd that was on Conan, they must have all been smoking joints or something, because that was a sleepy crowd for sure. They were off. But Daniel Sloss, yeah, I liked that stuff. He seems nutty. And I like the faces he was making. All right, Daniel Sloss from Scotland. I wonder what, like, because you gotta. I feel like you have to be pretty big to end up on Conan. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, he is a comic himself, so he feels like helping another comic out. But and that guy made it from Scotland all the way to L.A. So there has to be something behind that, you know. I think I saw in Kevin Bridges' Instagram post that it's his first time. Maybe it's not his first time coming to the United States, but his first time doing gigs in the United States. So, or maybe just touring. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I can't wait. It's going to happen sometime this week, he said, where the tickets are going to go up on sale online, and I'm going to try to get tickets to a show in Florida to go see Kevin Bridges. So I can't wait to do that. So anyway, and I think he's touring in September and October. So it's like the perfect time. Because once that fall rolls around and it's football season, I'm ready to go see a show. For sure. And I haven't been to a live comedy show in a long time. So, repop my cherry with Kevin Bridges? Absolutely. That probably didn't come out right, but so I'm going to end it here. Thank you, Mr. Goldberg, for sending that in. Remember to like, subscribe, do whatever you guys want. And I will see you again soon. Much love to Scotland. Take care, everybody.